Coming up next on the CHGO Cubs Podcast. Cubs are making roster cuts. Who's going to be their opening day starter? We're talking about that. Plus, we're talking about World Baseball Classic Cubs. We're talking about injuries, and we are talking about the return after an epic trip thanks to Shady Rays. Oh, we're back. CHGO Cubs next. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? Welcome home. We are back. Luke Stuckmeyer, Joey Christopoulos with you, and Sarah at home running the ones and the twos today. Go Cubs. I said it for. Justin off today. Joey, we're going to talk about all of it. Just an epic trip. We got to thank Shady Rays, incredible sponsor. Stephanie took us all over town from Shady Rays. She was at our events. We went to the store. We're going to show you some pictures from our trip. We got to see old friends. We got to see new friends. We got to rub shoulders. I got a story for you about that at the end. And we got in at 3:00 in the morning. So we are remote today. The only person that dragged themselves into the studio today, one Gregory Braggs, because of free agency.
Who was contemplating sleeping at the CHGO studios. What a wonderful wake-up call that would have been for Mr. Mark Carman himself. Yeah, Luke, what a wonderful weekend. And to everyone that's jumping in the chat right now or anyone that's watching it later, if you've ever asked yourself, I wonder what a CHGO Cubs episode would be like if Joey and Luke were zombies, this is the show for you.
Look at my eyes.
One. Okay, don't bite me. Don't bite me now. But yeah, a huge thank you, obviously, to Shady Rays. What a wonderful weekend. We're going to walk through a little bit of it because a lot of it is very much Cubs-centric. A lot of it is fan-centric. We had such a great time. And to your point, too, as well, Shady Rays was so generous. We had bags and bags and bags of Shady Rays sunglasses.
Yeah,
that we were handing out to people all throughout the weekend. I don't want to step on any of the days, but it felt like Arizona was like the bachelorette invitational. So that bachelor party, we gave them all sunglasses. We saw them the next day in the bleachers. We were giving away sunglasses at Sloan Park. So everyone walked away happier. Everyone walked away looking a little bit cooler, all thanks to Shady Rays. What a great weekend.
It was awesome. The weather was spectacular. If not, maybe almost a little too hot at the very end. It was awesome. And we brought it back with us. You're welcome, everybody in Chicago. We took it on the flight, the very delayed flights that we went on yesterday, and we packed the hot air with us. 70 today. Can't go wrong. Sunshine. But so we land on Thursday. We were on two different group flights, right? You got to go to that first game. I got there in the afternoon, and you guys fly the W. How good did it feel to just first be at that first game? It was you, Justin, Pankow, Braggs. Who else was there?
So we also had Timothy, who we'll talk a lot about because he was with us for almost every single event. Timothy Majewski,
awesome,
who was there, who also came with his father, Mark. And frankly, there is a great story involving a pilot and CHGO Cubs that, frankly, I'm not going to step on because I'd like Justin to tell it tomorrow.
Yeah,
right?
we'll do that tomorrow.
It's a great story. You're going to want to stick around for that tomorrow. I feel like Justin deserves to be able to tell that story. But like Luke, man, like here's the thing. It gets you romantic, right? Like, the weather was beautiful, but like you're hearing the crack of the bat. The first thing I did was bought a huge bag of peanuts. The Cubs played great that day. They won the game. We sang the song, man. And just what it is as we're preparing and everyone's preparing and getting excited for opening day, like this is what it's all about. I wish it was tomorrow, but frankly, I'm trying to relish the ramp up right now.
Yeah.
Because it is special. So just being in that ballpark, and as you can see, Luke, we were sitting in the shade. So, I mean, like, it was best of both worlds. We were in great shape.
Also, as you point out, I don't want the season to start tomorrow because I need about 3 or 4 days recovery. Some of you young punks are a little wild, so you guys were up too late. I was just there to try and get some sleep for 4 days and watch a little baseball, and you guys kept wanting to hang out, go do stuff.
There's Luke passed out.
At least that's the photo that doesn't show my belly that everybody else got a peek at, that everybody else was trying to get shots of. That's the courteous shot.
People were walking by and being like, is that Emmy Award winner Luke Stuckmeyer? And they were lying down next to you taking photos, and you had no idea. I mean, there's so many of those.
I almost suffocated underneath that hat. It was so hot out there in the sun. It was great until you put a hat over your head, and then it was just like putting yourself into an oven. So you go to that game. Then at night, we all meet up, and first we go to the Desmond. Was that the name of the pizza place? And we had that there. Meet and greet with fans that had signed up. There's Derek, who was celebrating his 40th birthday, and he had his family there. We had a good time, and we had some drinks. Were you in on that shot of Malort?
I partook in the shot of Malort in the desert. As traditions go. I was more than happy to oblige. What a great group to come out and hang out with us. Hopefully now we're Instagram friends now, so hopefully it stays that way. Hopefully he's the kind of guy that I want to see in the 120 club. He's the type of character we need all season long at Murphy's and into the 120 club.
Great guy.
To meet him for the first time. Food was really good too, man, and it was throw away from the stadium, so it worked out.
So we all walked to the game. Derek was sitting with us. His family was there. We're having a good time. Some of us may or may not have been rooting against the Bulls for draft pick reasons. Not naming names. I'm just saying some people might have. And sure enough, the Bulls find a way to beat the Suns in Phoenix. So that was win number 2. And then afterwards, we went down. I got to see old friends Stacey King and Adam Amin. Went down with the Bulls guys. We said hello. Security was trying to stop us, but you can't stop an unstoppable force like Big Dave. When Big Dave says he's going down there, he's going down there. And so we got to hang out with them. Then we came back. You guys did a little more activity in the hotel lobby, if I'm not mistaken, that night.
Well, that's when Greg Braggs tried to drag me out to a honky-tonk bar.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Braggs, by the way, Braggs was up at, I think, 3 o'clock in the morning to get to his 5 o'clock flight at O'Hare that day, and then stayed up until 3-something in the morning at some honky tonk in Scottsdale.
So here's the thing. Typically, I'm the guy that would be game for that kind of stuff. And we're out of town, we're on vacation. So I want to do an experience that I've never done before. But here's the rule, Luke. And this is where age and wisdom has finally absorbed into my bones, which is something that I frankly didn't do all weekend long, but in this moment I did. It was night one of a trip. Never ruin your body or your sleep or anything like that on night one of a 4-day trip, because you got to be in it for the long haul. If you're a starting pitcher out there, right, you can't be throwing gas in the first inning because you'll get pulled in the 3rd or 4th inning. I wanted to throw a complete game this weekend, so I opted out of it. And Braggs went out, stayed out till 3:30, and then was up the next morning to go golfing with us. So I'm glad I didn't go, though. I think it worked out.
Golfing was a lot of fun at Dobson Ranch. Dobson Ranch was a fun golf course. We all had new Shady Rays on. Our guy Lance Briggs, the double nickel, showed up, and he was driving. He wasn't golfing with us. He was just driving around. And he said something to me about get some sun on your legs. I don't know what that meant. Apparently, I was too milky, if you will, too pale. But
I
Lance
would never
was making fun of my chicken legs being extra white, extra crispy.
Well, you're also burying the lead, Luke. Friday was your birthday. Yeah,
and Lance never wished me happy birthday, and frankly, nobody brought me a candle with a cake on it. Little disappointing. I'm not gonna, not everybody gets to 54. I thought there was going to be like a parade or something down Scottsdale Avenue, but it didn't happen. That's okay. So we went golfing, and we golfed with Tim and his dad, Mark, and what a time that was, huh? What a time
great.
that was.
It was great. And frankly, I'm just a little upset because I got you for your birthday 10 mulligans. I got you 10 mulligan shots on the golf course.
I bought 10. We both rented clubs. I bought a bag of 10 golf balls.
You did.
And they were all gone by the end of the front 9. Sometimes because I didn't want to go looking for them because of rattlesnakes. And then sometimes because the shot was so bad, it was on another fairway or it was way off to the side or I just couldn't find it. But we did have a good time. The weather was perfect for golfing. Perfect.
Yeah.
And
weather was
Tim went on a run of like 7 or 8 pars in a row. If we were playing best ball, we would have had a good score, thanks to Tim.
Played great. And the other fun part, too, is that, frankly, Tim's dad, Mark, is currently, and like many Cubs fans out there, maybe like Godfather here in the chat, that was a little skeptical about the Chicago Cubs this year. I think we're a little bit more on the optimistic side, a little bit more on the hopeful side. So it was fun over the course of 18 holes to talk Cubs with them. And it was fun to try and, I don't know, like not persuade a fan to come over to our side, but also let kind of Cubs know that, I think things are going to be okay this year. I think it's going to be all right. And I think our depth is going to ride throughout the day. So, great day out on the golf course. I personally played a little bit better than I thought I would. I was all over the place. I mean, I'm an inconsistent golfer.
Yeah.
But I there was times where I put together some enough shots where I was feeling good. Oh, we got someone in the chat. Great meeting you guys. We'll now have to watch the whole show. Late shooting a golf tournament right now. All right, Rich.
Right. Rich said he was shooting a golf tournament with some of the coaches, right?
Yeah, Rich Biesterfield, one of the I think the best photographer in all the land of Cubs on the Cubs beat. An incredibly nice guy too as well. Was able to meet up with him all weekend long, and that was great.
We might have more from Rich. Rich might be on the show in a little bit.
I think that'd be a good idea.
Talking photographs. So we got to do the golf. Then we had a little bit of time to get back, clean up before we went to poor decisions. Now, what we didn't know is you, me, Braggs tried to pack into this tiny Prius Uber. And who shows up but Leon, who wants to go by Lee. Now, Leon is a New Yorker. He's kind of grumpy, and he's a Mets fan, okay? And he starts quizzing us about Ernie Banks, which then this is after, of course, a great day of golf. And he starts asking, he doesn't even know it's my birthday. He starts asking me after a little prompting from Joey saying that I covered Cubs baseball. You ever cover Stan Musial? What? Stan Musial? How old does this guy think I am? I mean, I know I got some, I got some wrinkles. I got way less hair than I used to have, but like Stan Musial. Then he's talking about Willie Mays.
Well, yeah, me and Bragg start egging you on, and we're saying, yeah, Luke, what was it like covering Ernie Banks' first game?
You covered Ernie Banks? Did you see 500?
Luke, was Ty Cobb as good as everyone says he was?
He asked me
this
about
is your
Ty
birthday.
Cobb. And then finally, I decided to stop it, and I said, actually, the one guy I did see was Babe Ruth when he called the shot at Wrigley Field. I was there for that game. And Lee gave me this stagnant pause. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. So I had he was the greatest character, I think. If we could have recorded the Lee conversation in our Prius, it would have been our highest rated YouTube show ever. I have no question about that. We could have just teased it with questions that he asked, and it would have been the highest rated YouTube Cubs show anywhere in the world ever.
Nothing makes you feel your age more than a grumpy New York Uber driver asking you, what was it like covering Stan Musial?
Yeah.
How is Tinker, Evers, and Chance, Luke? What was that like?
Do you know Fergie? Actually, Lee, we're about to take a picture with Fergie later in the trip. That comes up later. But first we had the great trip. Then we go to Poor Decisions with Good Intentions. And Stephanie from Shady Rays takes us out there. And we had, again, a drink deal, meeting up with some fans.
Who's that? Who's that in that photo?
Look at that. Do you see who's over there on the right side?
Yeah,
look who's over there.
Guy?
Now he doesn't have any CHGO gear on, but he's just in aviators and black. And what a vibe it was to see our Brendan Miller, the pitch doctor, in person, who then later was quizzing an unnamed, we will say anonymous Brewers pitcher who happened to be there. And Brendan Miller was talking heat maps and break and spin rate with a Brewers pitcher who played along with it very nicely.
Yeah, we will not
reveal the Brewers pitcher.
We will not reveal the Brewers name, but it is funny that we went there. Poor Decisions was a great venue. We got up and we did basically a live show. A little bit of some Bulls, a little bit of some Cubs.
Trash the Brewers, only to find out that there was a Brewers pitcher in the crowd.
Yeah, exactly. We're trashing the Brewers and we're talking Cubs and we got our chests out feeling really good. And lo and behold, there's actual Brewers in the audience. And frankly, that's what Arizona is, and that's what makes spring training fun. It's a little bit of you don't know who you're gonna meet. Right. And it's a smaller town than you think. And because it is a little bit, it's condensed within about a 45 minutes with all these different ballparks everywhere. Yeah. There's players walking around. Yeah, there's Cubs legends walking around. There's a lot of different people just hanging around in the neighborhood. And then, of course, like the most important one, Luke, is that there's Cubs fans in Arizona everywhere.
Yeah.
There isn't a Cubs jersey. There's a Cubs jersey every 10 feet from you. I don't know how many times I said "Go Cubs" with a high five or a pound or whatever it was. Not just in the ballpark, around the ballpark, at the hotel, at a Poor Decisions, just walking around in town. And that's what spring training is. You all kind of like come into this encampment, and it's got that musical festival feel to it a little bit of we're all here to sort of do the same thing. And that's what makes it so special and why I'd recommend going, you know?
Did I just see Chris from Northern Ireland checking in on the chat? Yeah, look at that. Hoping to make a trip out. Good to hear from you, Chris. Thanks for watching and checking in with us. Yeah, you never know who you're going to meet. You might meet Lee. We invited Lee to the happy hour and to our big event at Poor Decisions, but he didn't make it out there. But that would have been the only thing that would have really topped it, right?
Yeah.
What do you guys think Hack Wilson's going to do this year? How's he going to be? Lee. Oh, man. So we had a good time. Yeah, Brendan was there. Brendan was talking baseball. Brendan brought his dad. And if you haven't seen the pictures that we have put out on Instagram, go check out CHGO Cubs. CHGO Bulls was there. Braggs was there. CHGO Bears. CHGO Sports has photos out. Brendan's dad, I don't know if I've ever seen a father-son, like you get a lot of similarities. You're like, oh, they're very similar. In this case, the only difference between Brendan and his dad was the hair.
Yeah.
So let's talk more
Brendan
about
a little bit more.
I know we're over. I know we got to hit a break.
Yeah.
So we'll tell you more about that, and we're going to talk about the starting pitcher for opening day as well. That's coming up next on the CHGO Cubs podcast. What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi, and what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That is the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine that you've got Wi-Fi in your house that makes everything in your home work together, finds and fixes problems before you even know you have them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with almost a sixth sense. It lets you stream the game while the rest of the family is online doing something else. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years at the same price. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and Xfinity's best equipment is included. Take it from me, a lot can change in 5 years. Championships can be won. Records are broken. But right now, your Wi-Fi, you want to lock that in. So lock in your price. Unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply.
And hey, Cubs fans, it's nice outside today, but is winter over? Is it really over?
No.
And if it is even, you got to ask yourself, was your home's heating up for the challenge? Because next winter, you got to be ready. And if you have a plumbing emergency, what do? You call Four Seasons. If you have an electrical emergency, what do? You call Four Seasons. Or if you need a new hot water tank installed today, you call Four Seasons, because right now is the perfect time to schedule your Four Seasons furnace tune-up. And if you're thinking about a whole home generator, they got you covered, because at Four Seasons, they guarantee same-day installation for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, sewer, and generator needs with no extra cost for nights, weekends, or holidays. Right now, save up to $4,000 on furnaces and comfort systems. Furnaces that start at $39 a month, or furnace AC combos at $57 a month. So call today and save $50 from your trusted local experts. It's Four Seasons heating, air conditioning, plumbing, sewer, and electric. They've been serving the Chicagoland community for over 50 years. So go to fourseasonsheatingcooling.com today.
Back on the CHGO Cubs podcast, and we are back in the Chicago area after our 4-day, I don't want to call it a bender, 4-day trip.
Work.
It was. For me, it was not. 4-day
work event.
Epic work event to Mesa and Cactus League action with the Cubs. It was awesome. So we told you about the Bulls game where the Bulls won. Then we had the golf outing. You guys had the first Cubs game. Then we go to Poor Decisions. That's a great time. Stephanie from Shady Rays, handing out Shady Rays to everybody left and right. Then the next morning we wake up and we go to the actual Shady Rays store. I got to admit, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know where the store was going to be, but it's in this swanky shopping area of Scottsdale. And this store is huge. Like, they have Shady Rays stores, hopefully one coming to Chicago, not too long, but they've got them around the country. I think there's like 5 of them, but the one in Scottsdale is really nice. And Stephanie welcomed us with balloons and cookies, right? What a welcome that was. And we all tried on all our Shady Rays. I tried on some of the ski goggles. I had no idea. But the highlight of the trip for me was, Stephanie, I said to her, I said, you know what you guys really need is you guys need readers. You need to carry readers for the old folks. Dare I say, especially here in Arizona. And she said, well, we have them. What are you talking about?
Right over there.
What? I walk over there. We have 1.5 times. We have 2 times. We have 3 times. So I now have sunglasses that are bifocal readers. So I can sit at the pool and I can read a book or look at Twitter and then still look up and see everything. It changed my life. It's going to change my life.
Yeah. And like, honestly, like, and this is genuine, right? Like, we look behind the curtain, right?
Yeah.
We get copy to read for these ads. And like you said, Shady Rays is Arizona. I've had the pair before, so I wear them. And in the copy, it says, like, they're never stupidly expensive. And you walk around this cool store and all these high-end glasses and readers or whatever, there wasn't a single pair over $100. And that's what her thing is. Like, that's her whole thing is, like, they're trying to make high-quality sunglasses without making you pay, like, a fortune for them. Because you go to some of these stores and they're like $300 for a pair of sunglasses. And frankly, they're almost like the same as any other pair that you'd buy anywhere. Like, these ones were so high quality and none of them were over $100. So really appreciated that. They welcomed us with open arms. They had a little bit of a putting green there. We had a great time. You had a great time trying on your ski. Thank you, Sarah. What a perfect cue.
So this is one of their ski goggles. I've never worn ski goggles, but when I looked at those, I thought to myself, if I could handle the heat,
you need to do it more.
I would wear those. And somebody on Twitter said, you look like you took a piece of aquarium glass and walked away. But they were awesome. I thought they were kind of cool. And everything I tried on it, like, look at how big that store is. You can tell it's a nice place. And we had a lot of fun there. Every pair I tried on, I bought Braggs and I a pair, because right now the deal is they've got a new code through us which if you weren't following the trip on Twitter, it's CHGO SR, like CHGO Shady Rays. And that's you buy 2 or more pair, 2+ pair, and it's 40% off. So Braggs wanted a pair of sunglasses. I wanted a pair of readers, and boom, we met in the middle. I said, well, let me buy them. Let's get the 40% off right here. We used the code, and everybody's got what they want. So I got sunglasses there. I got reader sunglasses there. And I almost walked away with, I almost went and got 2 more pair, but I thought, budget's tight. I still could afford these because they're so affordable. So then I thought, you know what? Maybe Joey will get them for my birthday. Didn't happen, but that's okay. That's okay. You know, maybe next year, right, Joey? Maybe next year.
Well, yeah. Maybe
it's an opening day gift that I get from somebody. Justin's got money. He's got money to throw.
You know what they say, you know, when a co-host is on their best behavior, you know, sometimes 365 days later, there's something in their stocking or whatever. And sometimes, sometimes it's Shady Rays. There's always prepare for next.
I'll post a couple pair that I kind of liked, you know, just in case anybody's thinking about getting another pair. Anyway, so we went to Shady Rays. Then we went to the Cubs game, and that was a good time. What happened? Another W. So we
start
went
racking them up.
We posted, I think the video's already out, all the things we had to eat. I'm going to tell you that the mint chip waffle cone was great. The cookies and cream waffle cone was great. And I've heard through Bragg said this. I don't know who else had this. Justin, I think, did that the burger with green chili burger. On it. Mm-hmm. Bragg says is the best burger he's ever had in his life. It was the one at Sloan Park. Best burger he's ever had. Now that is, I don't like green chili, so I didn't try it, but that's a bold statement.
No, I also maybe had some of the best orange neutrals I've ever had in my life too, as well. I got an opportunity to try the walking tacos, which was great. I mean, I know walking tacos isn't just solely reserved for Sloan Park, but I never really kind of had it before. It's when you put, they're basically Doritos in a bag, you cut the bag in half, and then you just load it up with nachos, and then you eat it with a fork. And the walking taco, you can have nachos on the go. I thought that was absolutely delicious. But no, great time. That was a good day to get some sun, Luke.
Yeah,
we did that. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, we got lots of sun. We had a lot of sunscreen on too. Peck was putting it on those Moses sandals to make sure his feet didn't get, burned. He was doing that a lot. Big Dave and I kind of hid in the shade more often because it was starting to get warm. We had a good time. And then we went to the game again yesterday, and they didn't win, but we left before they lost. So technically, every game we went to, every game was a win. Look at that.
Undefeated.
That should be your new profile pic. I changed mine to the sunglasses from Shady Rays.
Yeah.
You and Braggs look like the 2 happiest people on the planet there.
We were, and here's the other part about it too. And as we lead into and tease what I thought was one of the best pictures that we took with an absolute Cubs legend was that, look, it's spring training, but and I get it. Like sometimes you feel like when you're maybe on Twitter or online and there's people ragging on the team and you're having conversations, you're having arguments all the time. But like Cubs fans really are kind of the best kind of people. We've experienced pain for a long time, and yet we've somehow still figured out a way to enjoy the sunshine and try and enjoy the hope and optimism. All that, as you would say, washed away 10 years ago. So we have a World Series now under our belt. And just in going in that spring training, we did a lap around the stadium. We try to talk to fans because that's what we do here at CHGO. Like we try and have a game presence to it. But we want you to know that if you ever want to join us to one of our events or come hang out with us at Murphy's and go to the 120 in the bleachers, like we are fun and you're going to have a great time. So we walk around, we're intermingling, we're talking to fans. And everyone was just frankly just in a great mood. A, happy to be there. B, happy to get some sun. C, happy to watch a Cubs team that frankly is good. Think about it like this, Luke. Like the WBC is going on right now. And sometimes you're like, oh, shucks, the headliners, Pete Crow Armstrong and Alex Bregman aren't even on the team. But you go there, and Michael Busch is hitting lasers around the field. Dansby Swanson's hitting 480 right now. There's guys like Matt Shaw that you want to watch. Guys that, Dylan Carl. We're going to get to these guys, but Dylan Carlson right now is hitting like 400. A guy that's trying to make the team. Like the team right now is scoring some runs. The pitching is trying to round into shape. You never want your pitching to be in mid-season form in spring training. But there's just a really great vibe going on at the ballpark right now. And it isn't, forgive me, because, the beer is cold and the sun is out. Like there's a quiet confidence going on with Cubs fans that I think we all think this is going to be an enjoyable summer. And most importantly, this is going to be a team that we're all going to want to root for. Like there's a lot of good guys in this roster and there's a lot of depth. So the next man up is going to be just as fun to root for, is hopefully not the guy that goes down. So just walk around. That's what I've kind of taken away from Saturday and Sunday, was just Cubs fans being in a great mood, all of them good people, trying to take care of each other. We're the type of stadium too where, frankly, if you walk around in a Giants jersey or a Dodgers jersey, we're going to give it to you a little bit, but we're not going to be mean about it, right? We're not going to get physical or nasty or trying to make you feel lesser than. We're going to give you a little guff and then we're going to move on, right? And that's the big part of the takeaway that I have from those last two games, and specifically with Cubs fans.
Yeah, Braggs and I heckled some Cardinals fans a little bit and gave them a little grief, but that was okay. It never got, heated or anything. And by the way, the couple that we met at our hotel lobby from Tucson, we met a lot of people that are now like, oh, we're going to come find you guys this season for Friday 120 Club. So Friday 120 Club will grow. And it was just great networking and getting to meet a lot of Cubs fans. So big thanks to Shady Rays. We got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk Cubs baseball. It's the original take from Hooters. What will it be today? Find out next on the CHGO Cubs Podcast.
Hey, Cubs fans, we're already deep into 2026, and are you sticking with your New Year's resolutions, or have they gone by the wayside? Well, either way, you can get back into a great routine right now, and I get it. We have chaotic mornings, chaotic days, chaotic weekends. We're recovering from spring training, Luke. I came home, fridge is empty. What do? I grab myself some Huel. That's right. It is a meal in a bottle, and it's under $5. That's right. Skipping a meal or skipping a workout doesn't mean that you can't get the protein that you need. And Huel has 35 grams of protein, 27 essential vitamins and minerals, no artificial sweeteners, colors or flavors. It's gluten-free, under $5 per meal. Did I mention that already? And it's the complete meal that you can literally grab and go. For under $5, it's way faster than meal prep, and it actually fills you up for hours. So what you got to do right now is head over to Huel. They got a 15% offer with the code CUBS15, CUBS15 for new customers only. Thank you, Huel, for partnering with CHGO Cubs and supporting our show. If you're busy, Huel is the game changer you need.
The shot clock is ticking, and it's your chance to shop buzz or beater deals all month long at Ray Chevrolet during their car clearance madness event. Stop in today. Drive home with 0% financing for 72 months on new Chevrolet models, or check out their selection that they have of over 125 vehicles right now that are priced under 20 grand. Now that's affordability. And with one of the Chicagoland area's largest Chevy inventories, you're sure to find the perfect vehicle for you. And as one of the top selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest, they're able to keep their prices competitive, so you know you're going to get a great deal. And then there's Ray's Price Promise. The price you see is the price you pay. No gimmicks. Go see for yourself. Route 12 in Fox Lake. And don't miss your shot to shop the car clearance madness event going on all month long for 0% financing for 72 months on new Chevy models. Shop Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake, raychevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Together, let's drive. Back on the CHGO Cubs podcast, we are back in Chicago after our 4-day trip to Arizona, thanks to Shady Rays. Had a good time, but now we're here to we packed into one. We got into one SUV to go to the game yesterday, and it was, I'll just say, tight. And I will also say that Joey got to know Braggs in a way that he didn't expect he was going to get to know him that closely, because it was hot and sweaty in there. It was hot and sweaty in that SUV. And just
the places he sweats too.
So far back, it's almost like he takes up two, because he's kind of reclined all the way back. So anyways, It is time for the original take presented by our friends at Hooters, a new segment we do, and check out their 11 Chicagoland locations. Find the one nearest to you at originalhooters.com. So here's my original take. As we sat there and watched Cubs baseball, and then at night we went back to our hotel, gathered around the lobby at the hotel bar. We watched more Cubs baseball, but in the World Baseball Classic. Right? So we saw PCA scoring runs. We saw Bregman delivering. Man, have we seen Seiya Suzuki delivering for Japan? And I'm starting to think, could this be Seiya's best year? My original take is, despite the age telling you this wouldn't be the way it would go, I think it's possible this is going to be Seiya's best year. He doesn't have the pressure of all that stuff in right field last year where he's worried about, am I going to play, not play? He doesn't have Tucker looking over his shoulder. He's just there. He still has the protection of guys in the lineup with Bregman. And I think it's possible Seiya, in a contract year, delivers his best season in the major leagues this year for the Cubs.
It's absolutely possible. Yeah. Because we know that he has it in him, right? And he's coming off a season, right? 30 plus home runs, 100 plus RBIs. It's funny how these things work out in life when a guy's in a contract year. Sometimes that production and that level of play elevates. So that's what the Cubs fans, and I think the Cubs as a team, are banking on, whether they're going to sign him to an extension or not. We're going to have that conversation over the summer. Does Seiya play so well he prices himself out of the Cubs market? I don't know. Let's find out. Here's the thing with Seiya, and this is the one thing that he's been consistent at, frankly, being inconsistent at times.
Yeah.
When Seiya is locked in, which it appears that he has been over the last 3 or 4 days since this World Baseball Classic kicked off, is that when Seiya is locked in, there are few hitters in the game, and I'm not being hyperbolic, few hitters in the game that are more dangerous, that are, he always, what happened when he came over? He said, who do you model your game after? He models his game after Mike Trout. I am not trying to say that the peak of Mike Trout is where Seiya Suzuki is, but when Seiya Suzuki is hot, he does flash some Trout-like tendencies. Like even the best pitchers in the game, Seiya can hit a ball hard off of. We saw it in the playoffs against the Milwaukee Brewers. The issue is when things go the other way, they can be prolonged and they can be confusing, because sometimes when a great hitter goes into a slump, that sometimes means, he hits 250 with some singles and he's just kind of waiting on maybe getting the power surge going. I mean, Seiya can look, frankly, perplexed at the plate at times. And I have such a hard time reconciling how this guy can be one of the great, most dangerous hitters in the game at times, but also at other times he's waving at stuff, or he's just frankly guessing wrong at the plate. And you're like, Seiya, man, what are you doing? So, when you talk about it from a player's perspective, I understand that every single day we want our players to have 2 doubles and 2 home runs every single game. It frankly doesn't work out like that because it's baseball. 3 out of 10 means you're a Hall of Fame hitter. But I will say, if he can have maybe a couple more extended hot streaks than he has in the years past, we will feel it. And it will be a huge impact on this Cubs team. Maybe not just one hot month, but, he had that great first half, Luke, right? Like, for you, what is it for you with Seiya? Like, I don't know how much more consistent he needs to be. Maybe I'm just willing to offer, can you maybe give us a couple more extra hot streaks than you normally do in a season? And then all of a sudden he's looking at big time money, and he's also looking at big time production for a Cubs team that frankly is going to need it from the 3, 4, 5 this year.
Maybe it's just the fact that I'm a little bit older now, Joey, just had another birthday. And the older you get, you got to save computer space in that brain, right? So I just prefer to have amnesia about the times that he went and looked lost at the plate. I'm gonna forget the time in the season where Seiya looked lost, and I'm gonna remember the way he looked in the postseason. And I'm gonna think to myself, that looked pretty good. That Seiya was pretty dependable. And I agree with Chef Kevin. You can't put too much stock into World Baseball Classic stats and spring training stats. Yes, totally agree. facing Brazil's pitching is not the same as facing Dodgers pitching. I understand that. But I also agree with Carter Hawkins up there saying with the ABS, Seiya's always been this guy that knows the strike zone almost sometimes to a fault. Like he's so rigid in knowing the strike zone that he's not willing to protect something that's close enough. And sometimes he'll strike out or give you a weird offering at something. And it's almost because he doesn't trust the umpire. Well, now he's got this in his back pocket where they can, at the right time, they can use that. And I think I agree with Carter. Sometimes the umpires would get Seiya out of a groove a little bit. This will hold them a little more accountable, and when I feel like he's a guy that they ought to trust. Not everybody can appeal something. Seiya's a guy that I would guarantee that I don't know what percentage other players will get at the end of the season, but it'll be curious to watch. Like if they appeal, what did they get right? I bet you Seiya's like 95%. That's how much I think he knows the strike zone.
Yeah, and to that point, and to get a little granular, I'm curious to watch. I don't have a prognostication on what's going to happen, but the other part about Seiya is Seiya sometimes has a tendency to look at a fastball right down the pipe early in a count. And I know that sometimes frustrates Cubs fans of like, man, that pitch is right there. And I know that he's dabbled from time to time with do I attack a little bit earlier in the zone, early in the sequence, excuse me? Do I try and attack a pitch and try and be dangerous earlier on in the count? But I am curious to see, with that ABS in his back pocket, as you just said, does that allow him a little bit more wiggle room to maybe attack a little bit earlier in a pitch sequence? Or also, can it get him into more advantageous counts? I don't have the stats in front of me, but when that zone gets expanded, a 2-1 count turns into a 2-2. A 2-1 count could turn into a 3-1. Then all of a sudden, you're drilling in and you're locking in on four seam. So, of all the guys, and the stats are out there, of all the balls that have been called not in the hitter's favor, Seiya's led the league over the last several years. Now, is that going to turn into 40 bombs? I don't know. And I'm with you, Chef Kevin. But the only thing that I would say is that when Seiya's locked in, I just think that's good news. Because whether it is like Schwarber hit a home run off a guy named Scrub, so whether it is a guy named Scrub or whether it is Jacob Mizorowski, I think Seiya can hit both those guys just fine. So as long as Seiya's locked in, I like that for the Cubs. Now, bottle it up, save it a little bit, and carry it over to the regular season, right? Because we're going to need it, and hopefully it's more prolonged this year than other years, because that's what the Cubs are going to need.
All right, let's get to the opening day starter, because Craig Counsell said probably within the next week he's going to name his opening day starter. Now, there were a lot of years where this was just a given, right? You were going to hand the ball to Kyle Hendricks. You were going to hand the ball to Justin Steele. You were going to hand the ball to back in the Jeff Samar, whoever you want to put.
Edwin Jackson, if we want to go to the dark ages.
Okay. Now let's not go there. I forgot my story. Who did Braggs and I run into at the airport last night?
Wait, who did you and Braggs run into
Braggs
at
and
the
I
airport?
ran into somebody at the airport after we left you at Guy Fieri's Flavor Town.
Donkey sauce. Thumbs up.
I didn't get the donkey sauce. We ran into Mark Pryor and his son.
Are you serious?
Yeah, they were going back to LA. That flight was delayed too. And of course, Braggs had to go over and introduce himself and say hello. I'm like, oh, just leave him alone. He's with his son. No. We went through the whole thing. Then all the Dodger fans saw us talking to him and shaking his hands. And now all the Dodger fans were coming over. And as they did that, we quickly slipped away and left him with all the Dodger fans who realized that he was the Dodgers pitching coach. But yeah, Mark Pryor.
That's a great one. That's a good rubbing shoulder or rubbing elbows. That's a good one.
So even he was there. So every year you seem to know it was pretty obvious who it was going to be, right? This year, I don't know where they're going. Castillo's not back yet. And Cabrera might have the best stuff. And Shota's been an answer before, but Shota didn't finish great. And boy, he has not looked great in spring training. We saw another home run, 3-run homer when we were there. So Tyone's been there a long time, but I don't know that he's somebody you give that opportunity to. I wouldn't be offended if they gave it to Tyone because he's been there and he's been dependable. But for me, the answer is if he's healthy, Matthew Boyd. He was your all-star. He was your best pitcher last year. Cade Horton's an answer, but I think you usually give it to a veteran who has earned something, and he was the all-star. I'll be surprised if the answer is not Matthew Boyd.
We are in agreement on this. And this is not to say that we both don't believe by season's end, by metrics, by numbers, by preference, that Cade Horton will be hopefully the best pitcher in the Cubs rotation. So don't get it twisted that just because we're naming someone the opening day starter, we don't automatically think that that's the ace or the number one guy. No. But there's several reasons why we think Matthew Boyd should start opening day. One, am I also incorrect that he started game one of the NLD, the wild card round and the NLDS? So, I mean, all right, there's a confidence level there. If you look outside in just the NL Central right now, I understand that Hunter Green is injured. I think irrespective of the injury with Cincinnati, I think Andrew Abbott was the type of guy that they want to have taking the ball in opening day. And we teased this a little bit on a previous show. And as we talk about roster construction all throughout this week, so make sure you keep tuning into CHGO Cubs as they continue to make cuts, who's going to be the outfield, who's going to be in the bullpen mix. When we talk about the opening day starter and we talk about the starting rotation depth, just look at the Cubs' schedule the first 6 weeks of the season. And that might give you more answers than who's just necessarily the best. Because for Craig Counsell, this is about lining guys up, getting them into a rhythm and getting into a groove, getting into a routine, getting into a role, and hopefully kind of like leaving there so they leave them there so that they can go out and thrive. And it's so funny. Major League Baseball does this every single year. But if you just pull up the Cubs schedule, obviously opening day, we're all got it circled on our calendars, and we're so excited for it. March 26th versus the Nationals on a Thursday. The very next day, which happens all the time in baseball, is an off day on March 27th, and then they come back that Saturday, Sunday to finish out that series with the Nationals. March 30th, they start a series with the Angels. But then that very Thursday, they have an off day, April 2nd. They start another series on April 3rd versus the Guardians. They start another series with the Rays, and then on April 9th, they have a day off on April 9th. They also have a day off on April 16th. So that's 4 days off in the month of April. Mm-hmm. Luke, that's a lot, man. So what we're trying to say is that, that provides Craig Counsell a lot of flexibility about how exactly he wants to line this up. And I believe personally that giving Matthew Boyd the start on opening day lets a veteran guy who deserves it pitch at Wrigley Field. We know he loves being a Cubs fan. And you give him that opportunity. You take that day off, and then the whole thing can reset on itself. And then Saturday, in theory, is the kickoff of what you think your rotation wants to look like and how you want to roll it out. And I think then that Saturday starts with Cade Horton, and maybe even in theory, Edward Cabrera right after that, if you want to create that 1-2 punch. But yeah, Luke, like I think he gets to I think Craig gets to play around with this a lot moving forward. So I think that's why Matthew Boyd is the call for me.
I do too. I just think there's an honor to being the opening day starter. And I think Cade Horton will be the best pitcher in the rotation this year. And he definitely showed us signs that. I just don't want to necessarily anoint that right out of the gate. Mm-hmm. And I think we've heard enough from Matthew Boyd about choosing the Cubs last offseason and what it meant to his family for him to pitch for the Cubs and how he wanted to be a Cub because of his grandfather and what his grandfather, the Super Cub, meant to him in his life. And I don't know if it would mean more to anybody on the team than Matthew Boyd to be that opening day starter at Wrigley Field. I mean, the guy's gotten emotional about just pitching for the Cubs, being an all-star for the Cubs, signing with the Cubs. Give him the honor of being the best pitcher last year on the team, a veteran guy, an all-star, hand him the ball. And like you said, you can reset it the next 2 days if you want to do that. You have a lot of different ways. You could still reset it after that if you wanted to, with guys, making piggyback starts or whatever you want. Now, the only thing I'll say is I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. I want everybody good and healthy coming out of the WBC and coming out of spring training. So I know a lot can happen in these next 2+ weeks.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say I'm guaranteeing that Matthew Boyd is the opening day starter. And even when Craig Counsell names that starter sometime in the next 7 days, that's not a guarantee who it will be, because sometimes crazy stuff happens. Knock on wood, that's not going to happen to the Cubs. But I think the right decision for the Cubs, if I was in Craig Counsell's ear, I'd be whispering, Matthew Boyd.
Yeah.
That's what Craig, Matthew Boyd, that's who you should do. That's what I think the right answer is. And when I say injuries, we just had to. Wicks is starting the season on the injured list. Not that he was going to be the opening day starter. He's got a nerve issue in his throwing arm. That doesn't sound great. And he's had a history of injuries. And then we had Porter Hodge, who we want to be a key part of the bullpen. He's not going to be there on opening day. He's on the injured list with a flexor strain in his throwing arm. So we already take 2 guys off the list. Maybe tomorrow we'll talk about how that impacts potentially the Cubs roster when they finally cut it down to the final group. But they've made the cuts basically to 53, and we'll see where it goes from there. Hopefully injuries don't impact who's going to be the opening day starter.
Right. And if everything's equal and everyone stays healthy moving forward, and it sucks to hear about Porter Hodge and Jordan Wicks. Jordan Wicks, part of the starting rotation depth. Porter Hodge was trying to come back and bottle up what he was able to provide 2 years ago and be a piece in the bullpen. I also want Cubs fans to sort of try not to overreact, if possible, to who makes the team and who doesn't out of spring training. Because I just think with those off days, I think we're going to have some conversations, and Craig might be weighing the option of, if I got these off days right now, Gavin Hollowell continues to pitch well, maybe Javier Assad, or maybe even, don't freak out, maybe even Ben Brown starts the year at AAA, because they have the off days to keep him on a pitch count that keeps him ramped up and ready to roll while they just work through these off days, and everyone has a bit of a reset and a break. So it's one of those things where, and I want to ask you too, like when we talk about opening day starter, and I hear you that, and I agree with you that it is an honor. But when the season kicks off, right, like let's start maybe here, and maybe that's also can trickle down to, if Javier Assad doesn't make the team out of spring training, it doesn't mean they think less of him. They just need to put him in a different role. Like,
right.
For you, opening day starter, overrated, underrated, or properly rated?
I think it means more to the players than it does to us.
Okay.
Right. I think, I think that's an honor given by the manager, an acknowledgement from the organization. And it's something that a pitcher remembers long after his playing days. Now, I'm not going back in history and saying it was this guy. Remember how great he was on opening day? No, I don't think that's it, because starters don't last that long on opening day. But opening day in Major League Baseball, it's different than other sports. It's not like opening day in the NBA. You say, "Ooh, were you in the starting 5 on opening day for the Bulls?" Not the same. It's not the same in hockey. It's not the same even in the NFL. Baseballs that won, where especially in a city like Chicago, opening day means something because we have fought through a brutal winter. And baseball signals, even though it might be 34 degrees and sleeting at the game, it signals that better days are ahead. The boys of summer are back. Here we go. Baseball's returning. And that opening day pitcher is your first look of this is our team, right? Like that's the guy you're going to see up there. So for me, I don't think it's underrated. I just think it's more important to the players than it is potentially to the fans. I think there's fans that will say, I want Cade Horton because I think he's going to be the best pitcher this year.
Right. And that's going to be the interesting just conversation that we're going to be having, is that I do think that it's an honor. And I do think when you get named that, I think it's something that you have a consideration, and maybe it adds a little extra zhuzh to it. And because of that, I think that it's frankly properly rated. I just want Cubs fans to understand that, like, when this season kicks off, I think just a lot of things are going to change. I think getting through the first 6 weeks of the season is going to be a little bit different than how the Cubs are going to do business in May, June, July, August, and September. And hopefully, guys got to stay healthy. Guys keep performing and keep pushing for roles. So I want to have, and that's what the Cubs structured it in a way where we're going to have these conversations of Gavin Hollowell pitches well enough that now it's like, do we go north, or excuse me, more like northeast from Arizona to, I don't know, geography or whatever. But you have these questions of, are we better served taking Javier Assad with us when he's done pitching tonight against, the USA and Mexico if they get bounced out? Are we better off figuring out by hook or by crook a way to fit Ben Brown into the mix in the first 6 weeks, even with these days off, because we know we have to kind of pitch count monitor some of these guys? Or has Gavin Hollowell pitched well enough, and he has to continue to do that, to earn the right to eat some innings and use up some bullets early on in the year with all these off days? It's just kind of be a curious, fascinating conversation. And I hope Cubs fans realize that because we have built in this depth, just because maybe one guy, if Javier Assad doesn't make the team and they bring up Gavin Hollowell, I think they still feel really highly about Javier Assad. It just might be they might not be able to utilize that role right out the jump the way that they would want to, where maybe Gavin Hollowell can come in more as a specialized one-inning guy. And that's what's going to be the conversation, I think, over the next 10 days as we barrel towards opening day. And it's all going to kind of get baked into it.
All right, we only have a couple minutes left in the show. So I was thinking, let me put on my broken readers. And I said, all right, let's look up opening day starter. Like, what does it really mean to us? I don't know how many I could remember this. In 1995, the opening day starter was Jim Bullinger.
Ooh.
Never would have got that. 1997.
Let me guess.
Terry Mulholland.
Terry Mulholland. Wow. I was going to guess Kevin Tapani.
98.
Tapani.
Yeah. 2000. Actually,
Lieber?
3 in a row.
Lieber.
Yeah, John Lieber, 3 in a row. Kerry Wood in 03,
Lieber.
Kerry Wood in 04, 05, 06, 07, 08, 09.
Oh, I know who this is. Carlos Zambrano.
Yes. I remember the first one in 05 where he told the umpire, get some glasses as he was ejected.
In mid-season form.
Who was it in 2011 breaking the streak of Big Z?
Wow. Too early for Edwin Jackson. I feel like I name
2 years in a row, actually.
I feel like I name checked that
2011,
earlier.
2012.
Oh,
Still
man, those were some really bad teams. I'm blanking.
Still around.
I was doing so good. What's that?
Still around. One Ryan Dempster.
Oh.
Demp did it 2 years in a row. Then after Dempster, you got 2 years of
Edwin Jackson.
Jeff Samardzija.
Oh, my
Samardzija. Then Lester, Arrieta, Lester.
Yeah.
2020, Kyle Hendricks. 2021, Kyle Hendricks. 2022, Kyle Hendricks. Again, you were getting to a point where he wasn't necessarily the best pitcher on the team, but that was the honor of
the captain, the steward. Yeah, the steward. Yeah.
Then we had 2023.
You're saying it like it's a
different name. Marcus Stroman.
The Stroh Show.
Then Steele did it once in 2024 and got hurt early in the game. Shota last year, and now we'll see who it will be in 2026. Point is, Terry Mulholland and some of those guys aren't the best pitchers in Cubs history, but we will see how it unfolds in the next couple of days as Craig Counsell makes that announcement. Okay, again, big thanks to Shady Rays for an awesome trip. We'll probably talk more about it tomorrow because Justin's going to want to talk about it. And we'll be back tomorrow, 2 o'clock in studio. Vibes will still be high. You will still be there. We will still be here. You're back on what, Wednesday?
Yeah, I'll be back with you Wednesday. I'm doing some Bulls late night basketball, so I'm going to get a breather tomorrow afternoon. I'll be back with
beauties for those Bulls.
Going to be great.
Yeah.
Get that L flag ready. Can I borrow that? Can I borrow that? Can I borrow the L flag, Brewers, just for like a week? Because the Bulls need it.
They need to know how to use it right now. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. 100%. Thanks for checking out the CHGO Cubs podcast. We will see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Until then, thanks for watching and fly the W.
We all silly like the mayor.